Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is let's rename the tiles to blocks because I think that would fit better. And also we would need to add a new costume, and that we need it to be a blank costume because sometimes, and we'll move it to the very top. The blank costume we'll just name air because sometimes we like not blocks won't fill everywhere, right? So we'll need
Wait, what
that.
did you do?
I created a new costume, which is blank, and I named it air right here.
Wait, so you go into blocks and do a costume?
Hmm. So click the costume and then go down here, choose a costume, and then click paint. And you'll have a blank costume, which is air. And then we'll also create another new costume, click paint, and then move it to the very top above air. And we'll name this like uh big. And then just draw a very big square. I don't care what the shape is or the color, but remember that this is just so that the blocks can actually go off screen. So I'm gonna make it like this big and move it to the center. Make sure you move it to the center. It doesn't matter really what size it is. I'm just gonna make it this size. And the reason we're going to create this big is because we can drag it kind of off screen to the very edge, and then we can change it to another costume so it's off screen. Because normally, if we change your block and move it to the edge of the screen, it won't let us make it move off the screen. It teleports it back. So that's why we need big. Okay, so now let's go to the code, and then we have when I receive start game. So both you and Rayanne will have to, in the when flag clicked, let's move the set size to 200 to when start game, or when I receive start game. And then in the
Wait,
when
where?
flag clicked, we're gonna
Oh,
drag out a broadcast start game. Sorry, what?
I'm not. I'm good.
Sorry, wait, what?
What? No, nothing.
Oh. Once we have this, we're gonna create a new block. Go down to my blocks, and then we're gonna name it clone tiles or clone blocks. Make sure you take run without screen refresh. We want that so that well it can run without screen refresh. But don't click OK yet. We're gonna add like a slash, and then we're gonna do X count, I guess, X count, and then add an input, the circular input that is also X count, and then add text that is Y count, and then input that is Y count. So this is the total number of tiles we're going to have on the screen. So that's what it's going to look like.
Was it add an input or add a text? Add a label.
So it's going to be alternating. So this part is going to be a label. This part is going to be the first input. This part is going to be a label, and this part is going to be the first input. Oh, hey, yeah. So we kind of just started. So yeah, I just need you to go to the block sprite that we had, go to the project, and then go to
Okay.
the block sprite. And actually,
Is
yeah,
it
go to the block sprite, and then create this new block. Go down to the very bottom, my blocks, and then create this new block.
okay then?
Yep.
Um,
Just follow the
is it
exact. Yep.
is it run without screen refresh?
Yeah. I have it ticked down here. So I'm gonna note it all. This is gonna be a label. This is gonna be an input. Make sure you put the right thing, a label, and then an input. And then we're gonna have the run without screen refresh checked.
Some of that.
It's spicy. I know you love spicy, but this is not the kind of spicy. It's not like this. It's just spicy. I like spicy. I like. Also, I kind of want to eat it. Oh, hey there. We're just creating like a new block, my block, in the block sprite, and we're creating this. So we have a label here, and then we have an input, and then a label, and then an input. Just follow what I'm doing. This is in order to create the actual tiles. And then we also got to take this run without screen refresh button. And then once you're done, just click OK. So yeah, everyone should be doing this. All right, does anyone need more time on this?
No, I'm done.
Okay. How about the other two? How about everyone else? If we're done, I'll just move on. Okay, let's click OK then. We have this new block. And since you two weren't here previously, I'll tell you what we did. We went to costumes and we created these two new costumes. The first new costume in the blocks is going to be big. And it doesn't matter what color it is. It doesn't matter what shape. It just has to be a big sprite or costume. And then the second one is empty and we named it air. So these two are the new costumes. Make sure you create those real quick. These are important. All right, does anyone need more time on this? I'm going to take that as a no. Let's move on now. Go to the code, and then we'll drag in the clone blocks, and then we'll move the set size 200 to the clone blocks. So make sure you have this code in the blocks. This is the only code we have so far in the blocks. When flag clicked broadcast start game, when I received start game clone blocks X count, Y count. For now, let's put like 6 in here. For now.
Is it possible to get rid
Yep.
of I know it's like not that big, but it's kind of annoying. It says, hey there, set some thumbnail has a new spot. It works by taking a snapshot of your stage and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, that's annoying. Just go ahead and click the button and then just click no or click yes, and then it should disappear. Yeah, that pop-up is annoying. Did it
Oh,
work?
okay. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, so now let's actually I guess clone the blocks. I'm gonna switch the costume to block first, so we can have a simple block, so we can see it. And then, first of all, we're gonna show. And then we're gonna have a variable. We're gonna delete my variable. We're gonna create a new variable called block x, for this sprite only. Make sure it's for this sprite only. Very important that it's for this sprite only because we want the different clones have a different instance of this variable. So make sure it's for this sprite only. Once you have that, we'll create another one called block Y that is also for this sprite only. These two will control the block's positions. So for this sprite only, this is really, really important. Okay. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to set block X to, we're going to grab out a multiplication symbol, and we're going to multiply X count by 32. Or actually not 32, negative 16, my bad. The reason we do this is 16 pixels is halfway through the block, so we're trying to go backwards a bit so we can actually create the tiles. Next, we're going to have two repeat 10 blocks within each other. This is going to help create the clones. So we're going to have X count in the first one and then Y count in the second one. So that means we're going to create X times Y amount, right? Next, inside each X count, we're going to set the block Y. So go to variable, set block Y. And we're going to duplicate this kind of expression we had here. It's going to be Y count times negative 16. Okay, now we're going to actually make it move. So now we're going to create a clone of myself inside the second repeat. And then we're going to change the block Y by 32. And then next, outside, we're going to change the block Y, or not block Y, block X by 32. And then at the very end, we're going to hide the original. Now, right before this, we are going to set up the other stuff. So we're going to make sure our original goes to the center. So make sure you drag out go to 0, 0. And then in variables, make sure you drag out set block X to 0 and then set block Y to 0 as well. This is what's going to create the actual blocks. All right, now let's move this big block towards the side here to organize it a bit. And then in the start game, after cloning the blocks, we're going to have a forever loop. And then in this forever loop, we're going to create a new broadcast message. And we're going to call it a new message and call it position blocks. position blocks. What this position blocks is going to do is it's actually going to make the blocks move to the right position. So drag out a when I receive position blocks, and then go drag out the go to XY position, and then in those places we're going to put block X and block Y. So now if we run this, we should have a 6x6 grid of tiles. So that's successful, right? And if you don't have this, make sure to tell me so that we can fix the problem. Now we can hide the block X and block Y values. We don't really need to know those two. And then let's make a new variable, camera X, for all sprites. This time it's for all sprites, not for this sprite only, for all sprites. And then click OK. And then also create camera Y, which is also for all sprites.
Wait, where? Was that for variables?
For all sprites. Both of these are for all sprites, and these are variables, new variables, camera X and camera Y.
And therefore all sprites?
Yeah, for all sprites. Make sure it's for all sprites. And then we're going to drag out an operator so we can actually control the camera now. So we're going to drag out a negative minus. We're going to take block X and block Y. And then we're going to minus our new items, camera X and camera Y. So what happens here is we can actually drag our variables to the side, have camera X and camera Y over here, and then why don't we right-click it? And then if we right-click it, we'll see this option called slider. And let's change them into sliders. Now, if you move the slider, notice how the entire block moves. So now we can control each block's movement, right? And if it doesn't move, please tell me that right now. That would be important to know. Go ahead and try it out. Just drag the slider.
Mine's not really working.
Not working? How so?
It does not look like a grid.
Does not look like a grid. Maybe it's the values. Do you have what does it look like actually?
It looks like a bunch of random lines.
Oh, did you switch your costume to the tile? So go to costumes and click on the block. The regular block.
Yeah.
And then click the flag again. And does it create like the whole tile shape?
Wait, where?
In the costumes, click the block. Make sure you're in the block sprite, not the air. Because if I do air, then it's going to be empty. If I do spike, it's going to be spike. If I do big, then it's going to be a bunch of like these lines, which I think you use big. So make sure you click on block, and then you have these tiles. Do you have that now?
Oh, yes. But I
And
don't have the switches.
the switches? Sorry, what do you mean
Yeah.
switches?
Like your little slidey things.
Oh, slider. You can just right click the like variable viewing thingy, the variable readout, right click, and then you can click on the slider option to turn it into a slider. Do you see that?
Oh, yes.
And then once you try that out, make sure you drag it a bit and then see if it works. If the entire block moves when you do camera X and camera Y, then everything is working.
Yeah, it does.
Wonderful. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to create kind of a bouncing back effect. So we're gonna check if, right? If a tile goes off screen, then we're gonna move it to there. So like if it goes off screen from there, we're gonna move it here. So what we're going to check in that if, we're going to have a less than symbol. And then we're going to do, oh, whoops. Okay, we're going to have to create two new variables here. It's going to be for all sprites, and we're going to name it x clone or x block clone count for all sprites, and then another one y block clone count for all sprites. And we can hide them immediately. We don't really care about them. Count. So it's going to be x block clone count and y block clone count. Make sure they're both for all sprites, And the reason we want to create this is we need to borrow these values. So let's go back to the define block over here, and then we're going to drag out two set variable, and we're going to set x block clone count and y block clone count to these two values, x count and y
Wait, that's a new variable, right?
Yeah, those two are new variables, and we're setting them in the define block right over here. So right here. These two blocks right here. Okay, once you have these, we're going to actually move down to
Oh,
here
also was a variable for all sprites or only this sprite?
for all sprites.
Oh, okay.
For all sprites. That's important because we want it to be the same for every single one. I'm going to move that to the same multiply, the first multiply. And then we're going to have it to be negative 16. Multiply by negative 16. Then we're going to duplicate this option, block X minus camera X, and then we're going to move it into the first slot. That's what we're going to do.
Wait, can you go back to the other big one?
Oh, yeah, of course. Here's both of them. In here, we're actually going to change the block X, I think. Yep. By, we're going to multiply it by 32, the total number of clone counts. What this is going to do is if it's less than halfway towards the side, then it's going to teleport it to the other side, so it's continuous. So look at this. If I move the value, it's going to continue to teleport. And if it teleports, then you're doing it correctly. Okay, next we've got to do it the opposite direction. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the if, and then we're going to duplicate it. And we're just going to copy it downwards. But this time we're going to make this negative 32. And you know what? Actually, let's delete this. Let's try a different method to simplify the code a bit. We're going to replace what we had previously with a greater than symbol. And then we're going to use this abs of operation. Abs basically means absolute value of. And then what it does is let me first do this. It takes the positive of the value. So if it's a negative value, it turns positive. If it's a positive value, it turns Positive still. It stays positive, I mean.
Wait, how'd you get, wait, oh,
Absolute value of is down here in operators.
wait, how'd you put abs in it?
Right here.
Oh, wait,
Absolute value, and again, it takes the positive value. So if it's -10, it turns into +10. If it's +10, it stays +10. If it's 0, it stays 0.
wait, how'd you get an X?
The X what now?
Wait, oh, oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. I think I got it.
Then we're going to add an if else inside the if, like what I did here. On the top, we're going to do a less than, and we're going to check if block X is less than camera X. Else, we're going to change the block by this times -32 instead of +32. So if this code is all correct, then you should be able to drag the camera X, and then it should teleport to the other side in both directions. The Y still doesn't work yet, but the X should teleport to both sides as you scroll it. So it should stay in the middle of the screen, basically, mostly. Okay, does it work for everyone? So drag the camera
Uh,
X around. Yeah, what's up?
I, is this a, it's like,
Is
wait,
it teleporting left and right really quickly?
yeah,
Okay, so that would be you would have to change this value from -16 like this. Is it like this right now?
no,
No? Or
it's
well,
like, it's like skating back and forth really fast.
oh yeah. So then change this value to +16 instead of negative. Did you do that?
Yes,
Does it
it
work now?
works. Yeah.
Wonderful. So what this does, what this code does is if you scroll slowly, you'll see that the blocks actually teleport. But if you do it very fast, you'll see a bit, but it's still going to teleport, right? So if that works, if it stays in the middle of your screen, no matter what scroll you're at, then it's working, just like on my screen. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to duplicate this entire if, and then we're going to move it onto the bottom. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to make it so that all the values for block X and camera X and whatever, we're going to change it to Y. So a useful trick for this is we're going to actually right-click the variable. So let's right-click this block X. If we right-click it, we'll see there's an option called block Y. And that just instantly changes it to block Y. Then let's change camera X to camera Y, X block count to Y block count.
Wait, how do you do that?
You right-click the variable. Do you see the variable box? Or the
Yeah.
variable circle? You right-click it, and then you click the option that says like the same name, but instead of an X, it's a Y. So this one would be block Y. This camera X I can turn into a camera Y. In this block X, I'll just click it, turn it into block Y. This block Y, and then this change it to Y block count,
That was
Y
just
block count.
um, wait,
And once you finish this, the camera Y should also work the same way, where while you're
wait,
scrolling in
so
the right
if you
direction.
change it to block Y, should all of them change to block Y?
Yes. So everything should change to block Y. This one is block Y. Well, not the top. This top portion where we originally had it, that's going to be X. But the duplicated bottom portion is all going to be Y instead of X. because one is going to control left and right movement, X, and one is going to control up and down. So make sure you have all these changed into Y, including this change variable over here. So all of this. Just like that. And if this works for Y just like it worked for X, then it's working. That's great. Oh.
Huh. So what is this supposed to look like?
So it's supposed to be the same as X, where it teleports to the other side. That way we can actually make it look like the blocks are continuous, right? Do you see that? If that's working for you, then
I don't
then
think,
everything's
wait,
right.
I don't think it's working though.
What's happening?
Is it supposed to like glide smoothly?
If you drag it slowly, yeah. But like one side is going to teleport to the other side. Is it like mine?
What?
Is it like mine? Like how the X moved? Do you
It's a
see
bit
how
laggy.
Oh, wait, what? How is it laggy?
No, yours is a bit laggy, so I can't really see what yours look like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Zoom is just like that. But like what I mean is it should stay in the center. So no matter where you scroll the camera Y, it should be in the center. So like if I go full screen real quick, notice how it's in the center and it teleports the bottom row to the top row when it leaves the bottom. Do you see that? Is that how yours works?
No. Wait. Oh, never mind. It does, I think.
Okay, wonderful. And everyone else is like grids also work, right? Just making sure. Okay. Now what we got to do is we got to switch our costume on the very top to big. And now you'll see your screen is covered in big. And then on the bottom, switch it back to normal block. And actually, let's move things around here. We're going to move this switch block. We're going to move these three blocks together. And then we're going to move the ifs all like that. So I just moved the top two blocks from there down to down here. Kept the ifs in the same position. So now your tiles should work. It should stay the same, actually. Should be the exact same right now. After we're done with this, we're going to create a new variable named block type and make sure it's for this sprite only. We want each clone to have a different instance of this variable. So for this sprite only, because each block could have a different block type. For this sprite only. And then click OK. And then we can hide block type for now. We'll drag block type into the second switch costume too. So we're going to switch costume to block type, basically.
Wait, where did you do that?
Down here, block type. Right down here.
Okay.
So now all your things should be spikes, which is fine. It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as you can see it. Finally, we're going to change the X and Y count to, let's see, 16 by 13, because that's how wide the screen is going to be, 16 by 13. So once you click the flag, then now it should fill up the entire screen And this should give it the illusion that it's continuous, right? It's not teleporting up or down, it's continuous. And that's what we're aiming for.
But how do you have such a big screen of it?
Huh?
How do you have such a big screen of your blocks?
Oh yeah, so that's what I just did, right? I changed the X count and Y count to be 16 and 13, so it fills up the entire screen. Notice how there are 16 of spikes on one row, and there are 13 from up to down, right? So we're just expanding it. And we can customize it, right? We can have like, if we want, we can have 10 by 10, and then if I click the flag, then it'll be a 10 by 10 square. But we want it to fill up the screen, so that's why we do 16 by 13.
Is it okay if my aren't spikes anymore?
What are they right now?
They're like,
The big purple stuff? The big box?
no, it's still, they're supposed to be spikes, but the rows overlap each other. So
Wait,
now
the
the
rows
tip,
overlap each other?
yeah, so the
Uh,
tips are cut off.
I think it's fine. Is it because your costume didn't perfectly fit into like this 4 by 4 box? Because that's what it should be doing. If that doesn't happen, then that may be like kind of a problem. Like it has to be fit within this 4 by 4 box, or else it won't really like look that well when they overlap with each other. Is it like within this like 4 by 4 block box? Like four tiles. Do you see these little like gray and white tiles?
Yeah.
Gotta make sure it's there, or else it may not look like it's flush with each other. Is it like that?
No.
Then you should probably like fix that so it looks better. And that would be great. Okay, once we're done with that, let's get back to the code. And then just make sure your scrolling still works. So just drag the slider a bit. And why not let's make it like a bit more variety by setting the block type in the defined clone blocks. In the second repeat y count, we're gonna move it right before creating clone, and we're gonna set block type to pick random between, let's say, 3 and 4. And then when we create, it should be a random combination of like blocks and spikes. Actually, why don't we do 2 and 4 so we can have air as well, air pockets. So now we have like a random grid, and it's kind of looking like Geometry Dash, right? We're gonna have actual things. Right, so click the flag each time and it's going to randomize it. Go ahead and try that out and then try to scroll. When you scroll around, you'll see that, the blocks are there. It's continuous, right? It's like a continuous little thing, I guess. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make an actual grid to store the tile information. So we're going to go to variables, scroll down, and then we're going to make a list. And then we're going to call it the block grid for all sprites. Make sure it's for all sprites. That's important. And then once you're done, click OK. So now we have a new kind of tile grid information. This will store the data of all the blocks. So let's create a new sprite down here and then make sure you paint it. This one, we're not going to actually paint anything. So go directly to the code and then change the name to block or I guess world generator or level generator. Level generator. And then here is where we're going to actually create the level. So we're going to create a new block and we're going to call it generate, I guess, level. That would work. And then I guess we would run it without screen refresh because we're going to add the items into the list.
Wait, is it run without screen refresh? Yes.
Sorry, what?
Is it run without screen refresh?
Uh, yes, run without screen refresh. And the reason we're doing that is we want to run it really quickly. We want to generate all of it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete all of the block grid. So we're going to make it empty. So that way we can actually start with a fresh list.
Wait, where do you have delete all?
In the list option, when you go down to variables and scroll down to the lists, we'll have a delete all of block, which is deleting all of the grid blocks, basically. After that, we'll have to create a new variable. Go scroll to
Oh,
up a bit.
wait, did we make a new list or no?
Yeah, we made a new list called block grid for all sprites. Remember?
Oh yeah, okay. It's there.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, everyone, after this, we're going to create a new variable and we're going to call it grid width. So that's going to be how wide the total like world is going to be for all sprites. Click OK. And another one called grid length for all sprites. This is
Wait,
going
was
to,
it? It was for all sprites?
yes, for all sprites. Both of them are all sprites.
Grid width and grid length.
For now, let's set the grid width, set the grid length to be, or not grid length. Sorry, my bad. Let's rename grid length to grid height. Because now we have a height and a width, right? So if you already created it, you can edit it by just right-clicking the actual variable and renaming it. So we have grid height and grid width. So first we're going to set the grid width and then set the grid height to 0. And actually we're going to change the value. So since it's a geometry dash level, let's do a grid height of 13. And let's do a grid width of like 30 or something. 30 and then 13. Huh? Yeah, we can hide the grid height and grid width variables. We don't really need them. And then let's create a new block and let's name it create column border. Make sure it runs without screen refresh and then click OK. Create column border. Here we're going to repeat grid height times. And then we're going to add thing to block grid, except that thing is going to be the ID for our block. And the ID is going to be the costume number, which is 3. So I'm going to do 3. Add 3 to block grid. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag out, create column border here, and then create another column border.
Wait, what did you do?
Uh, I added 2 of those blocks there. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And then let's create a new block and name it create top and down border. And then make it run without screen refresh. And then click OK. Move it below there. What we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, add 3 to block grid. And then we're going to repeat, where is it? Repeat 10. And then duplicate, and then we're going to add 3 to the very bottom. And that 10 is going to be replaced by grid height minus 2. So let's go to variable grid height -2. And then in here, we're going to add 2 to block grid, since 2 represents air, right? If we go into the blocks here, we'll see that costume 2 is air and costume 3 is block. Okay, now we're going to add a repeat 10 in the generate level, and then we're going to add the create top-down border inside that repeat 10. And then in the 10, we're going to replace it with -2, something -2, and in that something, we're going to put grid width. So I know that was a lot, but this is going to create the proper grid for our thing. Then grid width -2. Now let's make us some space for a new broadcast, or rather, yeah, new broadcast. Drag out a when I receive, and then make a new message and name it generate level. And then we're just going to simply put that new block we made, the generate level block, and that's going to be it for now in this level generator sprite.
Wait, could you wait for a second?
Of course. All right. Are you all ready to move on? All right. Let's move on to the blocks now. So go to the block sprite again. And in here, on the very top where we have start game, we're going to drag out a broadcast and wait block. And we're going to broadcast generate level and wait. So we're going to generate the level first and then wait a bit.
Wait. Oh, okay.
So this is actually going to generate our entire level. Now, what we're displaying here is still randomized, but we're going to change that real quick. So let's create a new variable and let's name it tile, not tile, block index. Block index, and for this sprite only. For this sprite only, that's important. For this sprite only. Block index. Click OK once you're done. For this sprite only. Now you can hide it. We don't really need to see it. And what we're going to do first is we're going to set this new block index variable to 1 right over here. And then we're going to change it by 1 every time we create a clone.
Wait, what did you
right
do?
there. So I added that new variable we created, block index. I set it to 1 here, and then I change it to 1, change it by 1 over here in this define block. Right, so that's what it's going to be. Now, the reason we do this is because we want to actually have these tiles store the tile information. Yeah, it's going to actually have that tile information in it. All right, is everyone ready to move on? Okay, now it's going to be the fun part. So first thing, look closely here. We're going to move away this create clone of myself and everything below it. And then we're going to remove the set block type. And then we're going to place those 3 blocks back in. So we just separated this set block type pick random 2 to 4. All right. Then we're going to move to the position
Wait, can
blocks.
you show me the thing again?
Show you the what now?
The
The how I did it? I
the
just
slot
sorry, what?
the set block index thing.
The set block index? Oh yeah, right there. I added that, and then I added that, and then I removed a block from there to here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now once you have this separated block, we're gonna move it to the position tiles part. So move it here, and then move it right before the switch costume to block type. Now you can see that your screen is probably like going crazy right now, but that's fine. It's supposed to be like that. Now let's remove this pick random so it stops spasming out. Now you should have the place entirely full of spikes if you run.
Do we delete it or no?
Sorry, what?
Do we delete it or no?
Oh yeah, we delete the random. Okay. And then in here, we're going to go down to the variables, and then we're going to find this item 1 of block grid thing.
When we do item one of block grid, um, mine has a bunch of lines and not like blocks.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's just like
Okay.
a little thing, right? It's fine. And then we'll go to variables, and then we're going to drag in block index, item block index of block grid. Item block index of block grid. All right. Once you click the flag, you should see this kind of grid thingy that you can see the border. Do you see the wall and the empty space? This should be kind of what you see. And you can scroll it around to see more or less of it. If you have that, then everything's correct. So now we'll move back to the clone blocks area.
I
And
don't
then,
have that.
oh shoot, what do you have?
I have a bunch of lines just still.
Like, is it like the big sprite? Like, is it the
Yeah.
big costume?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you need to click the flag again. Try that. Does that work?
No.
Okay, so you need to go to the level generator and make sure that you added the right values here. Make sure it's 3, 3, 2, 3. Is that what you have?
Um, let's see. Oh, now it works.
Oh, okay, great. And also make sure your costumes are everyone make sure your costumes are exactly the same as mine. Where the first one is big, the second one is air, the third one is block, and the fourth one is spike. The reason this entire system works is because we're adding the costume number to the actual grid list. So if we change up the order, it messes up everything. So don't change up the order. That's really important. Mhm. All right. Once we have this, let's go to the define clone blocks area, and then let's set um, camera X and camera Y to 240 and 180 respectively. So if we move this here and put it at the very top, let go. Ooh.
Wait, did you just do set camera stuff?
Yep. All right. So now when you do this, you should see this kind of cross in the middle. That's going to be our border of our kind of geometry dash thing. So yeah, so that's gonna be about it for today's lesson. So what we did was we created all these blocks, and next time we'll actually add the character in, I think. But yeah, we'll make this better. So right now we have the entire system set up, and we can add more to it in the future. All right, so good job, everyone. And class is over now, so uh have a great rest of your day, and see you next time, I guess.
Thank you.
Of course. Goodbye.